Please introduce yourself.
So my name is Gilles Clément. I'm a neurophysiologist. My research is in Houston, where I'm doing experiment on astronauts while they are in space. I've been doing that for 40 years, and mostly I'm interested in how the astronauts walk when they return from space, and how do they perceive being weightless with no up and down.
And what sort of things happen to people when they've been in the space station for 6 months?
Well, first of all, there is no up and down, so they feel disoriented, and that's the bad side of it. So they feel motion sickness, a little bit like car sickness. But the good thing is that now they move in 3 dimensions when they are in orbit. So they, instead on the ground here, we walk basically on the surface. Over there they can move on the ceiling, so they have a much larger volume to work with.
So for a young person who's saying, wow, how do I get involved in anything to do with space and exploration and the science involved, where do you start?
Well, you start to get a good idea for doing some research. You have to get interested in what we know and what we don't know about how the body works. I was studying the balance in cats, in animals. And my question is, how do animals that you drop upside down, how do they land on their 4 paws? Is the visual information from your eyes is useful? And I was doing that in a lab in Lyon, and then when I defended my thesis, a manager from a space agency told me, well, the cat that is falling is weightless, just like an astronaut, and why don't you come work with us and do research on astronauts? And that's how I joined the space program.
Wow. So you've met astronauts?
I met astronauts, about 200 of them.
Wow. And are astronauts super fit, super intelligent scientists?
They are fit. They pay attention to their exercise, but they are super smart. Yeah, and they want you, when you describe something, they want you to be quick and to the point, and they are very efficient when they do the work.
So does that mean to be an astronaut you need to have a degree?
Yes, definitely a doctoral degree or engineer degree. Most of them have even several degrees. They are biologists, doctors, lawyers. They have a multi functions.
Sorry, did you say lawyers?
Yes. Yeah.
So even
a degree in
lawyers?
law. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no end to the qualifications
No,
potentially?
I know, because it's the process for selection is hard. Thousands of people apply, and you select maybe 20 of them every time.
So what makes somebody get selected? What are the...
At the last, it's a political decision. Mostly the last 200s in the final, they all have the same qualification, physical and the academy. But you need to select 20, so it's made at a high level, mostly. In European Space Agency, they make sure one is selected from every country that is participating in the agency, and things like that.
Wow. And when you were young, did you think you'd be doing this?
No, I was not. I was not interested in space until the day where I was told I was going to work for the space program, and then I had to catch up and read. And 2 weeks later, I was in Moscow and meeting in Star City, meeting the cosmonauts there.
So would you predict what we might expect over the next 20 years in terms of scientific experiments, scientific change, and maybe even how we view space?
Well, it's difficult in research to predict, what will be the new technology in 20 years, but definitely there'll be more computer work, artificial intelligence, and that help make decisions. We'll know at the time more about the brain, how the brain works, prosthesis, training, rehabilitation, these type of things. For spaceflight, I hope that in 20 years I've been back on the moon and perhaps, on Mars.
And am I right, you're a professor of space research?
Space medicine. Yeah,
space medicine.
It's called human performance in space.
So do you think we will see people on Mars?
Oh yeah, I think it's possible. Right now the date is 2030. I think again it's a political decision who is going to commit to go, because it's a lot of work and you have to commit for several years. A program like that needs 10 years of work. Just like when they decide Apollo to go to the moon in '61, they had 9 years to go, and with a budget continuously flowing for 9 years. That's the commitment you need, for a program like that. You cannot change your mind every year or every other years.
I'm sorry, as we finish this, you just said something about an astronaut has to be flexible.
Yeah, they have to demonstrate that they can adapt and that they can learn in any field, not just the field they are an expert, but they have to learn about engineering, about medicine, about practical things, and biology, geology, and they are able to describe what they see as a journalist. So they have to show that they demonstrate the skill to learn during the training, all of this.
And learn quickly or learn sequentially?
Learn quickly. They spend in classroom and all at the same time, both the technology and the experience.
Fantastic, thank you.